everyone. In the nucleophilic substitution reactions of alkyl halide, you all know that halogen is replaced by a nucleophile. So let us take one example and understand this again. Right now I am taking the example of CH3Br, that is methyl bromide. And let us assume that this methyl bromide reacts with hydroxyl ions, which is OH minus ions. So in this case, this OH minus becomes our nucleophile, and this nucleophile will attack the carbon atom. Why carbon atom? Because we know that bromine is more electronegative as compared to carbon. So therefore, a pair of electrons will be slightly shifted towards bromine, and bromine will carry partial negative charge and carbon carries partial positive charge. So this acts as an electrophilic center. So nucleophile will attack the electrophilic center, which is carbon atom. But while breaking of this bond bromine, what will happen is there is a bond, covalent bond between carbon and bromine, which contains 2 electrons. Each covalent bond is nothing but 2 electrons. So while this bromine is leaving, it will leave along with the pair of electrons in the covalent bond. So bromine will take away both the electrons which were present in the covalent bond. So therefore, bromine will carry a negative charge, Br minus, and this OH will attack this carbon atom and replace the bromine atom. So from CH3Br, bromine will leave and OH minus, that is the nucleophile, will take the position of halogen. So in this case, this bromine group is called as, or any group that is leaving along with the electron is called as leaving group. Now in this session we are going to learn this reaction step by step. That means we will study this reaction in detail and how it exactly happens in different steps. So therefore, actually what we are studying over here is mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reaction. So what is mechanism? Mechanism is nothing but step-by-step study of any reaction. Now when this reaction is happening, there are 3 options that may occur. There are 3 routes that may occur. So the very first route is, what is going to happen is, when this OH minus is attacking the carbon atom, first the bond between OH and carbon will be formed like this. So OH minus plus CH3Br. So what will happen first is bond formation of OH and CH3. And then what may happen is breaking of this bond. To form CH3OH plus Br minus. Then the second possibility is, now in the first step what has happened is the new bond is formed first and the older bond is broken in the next step. Now the second possibility is older bond will break first and the new bond will be formed later. So first what is going to happen is, breaking of the bond between carbon and bromine will occur first. So what will be formed is this. CH3 plus Br minus. Now in this step OH minus will attack CH3. This OH minus will attack CH3 and CH3OH will be formed. I repeat, the first possibility is formation of the new bond and then breaking of the older bond. Second possibility is breaking of the bond will take place first. Breaking of the older bond, CBr is the older bond. So breaking of the old bond will take place first and then formation of the new bond will take place to form CH3OH. And the third possibility is both the actions will take place simultaneously. Formation of the new bond and breaking of the older bond will take place at the same time. Like this. CH3Br plus OH minus. Now what is going to happen is, there is CH3 over here. Let us assume that the new bond between C and OH is about to form and the bond between C and Br is about to break. Okay, so now understand the difference between first step and the second step. Here the bond is formed first, the new bond is formed first and then the older bond is broken. So formation of the bond is complete and then the breaking of the bond has taken place. But in this step what is happening is both the actions are taking place simultaneously. Nothing is first and nothing is second. What is happening is formation of the new bond and at the same time breaking of the new bond is taking place simultaneously. That's why we are saying this bond COH bond is about to form and this CBr bond is about to break. And the moment this bond is formed, this bond will be broken. So this is the product that is formed, but the only difference is breaking and making of the bond takes place at the same time, at the same moment. Now, out of the three possibilities, reaction cannot go by all the three methods. It has to follow only one method. So now there is one method that you can reject immediately by looking at the reaction. And I hope you must have guessed that the first step over here is absolutely wrong. There is no, even if we have written it on the board, there is no way that the reaction will proceed by this mechanism. Why? Because if you look over here, let me expand this. Let me write this CH3 like this. Okay? I have expanded this structure. Now if you observe, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bonds around carbon atom, but you all know that carbon is tetravalent. There has to be only 4 bonds around the carbon atom. That means this structure is absolutely wrong. So the reaction cannot proceed by this method. So here only we have rejected the first method. Now the question is, which of the two methods will be followed? The second method or the third method? Now to find out which of the two mechanisms actually take place in the reaction, I have already raised the mechanism that we have already rejected and I have written these two mechanisms again, where in the first reaction the breaking of the bond was taking place and then in the second step formation of the new bond. So of course you agree that this mechanism is taking place in 2 steps. First step, breaking of the bond. Second step, formation of the new bond. But in the second mechanism, the breaking and making of the bond is taking place simultaneously. So therefore we can say that this is a single step reaction. only one step is present in the reaction. Now, to understand this, we require some basic knowledge of chemical kinetics. So now I would suggest you all to watch this video again. If you have not studied chemical kinetics, first study that and then watch this video again. Now, if we carry out some kinetic study of the reaction, it is observed that rate of the reaction is directly proportional to concentration of CH3Br, that is methyl bromide, as well as concentration of the nucleophile OH minus. Rate of the reaction is equal to K times concentration of CH3Br multiplied by concentration of OH minus. Now, we need one more concept to be understood over here, which is called as rate determining step. So, to understand this, let us assume that there are few friends who want to go to the restaurant and have dinner. There are 5 friends A, B, C, D, E. They want to go to the restaurant which is present over here. Now, when going to the restaurant, say A and B went by bike to the restaurant, then C and D went by auto rickshaw, and E had to go by walk. Now that doesn't happen in reality. I know all the friends will travel together, but this is just for the purpose of understanding. Assume that 2 of them go by bike, 2 by auto, and 1 has to go by walk. So now imagine that it is obvious that out of these, those going by bike and auto will reach first. They will be reached over here. But they will have to wait till E comes and reaches by walk. Before E reaches, they cannot start their party, they cannot start their dinner. So therefore, they have to wait till E reaches over here. So now, out of these bikers and those going by autos were fast, but those the one who was going by walk was slow. Now, can we say that their party depends upon the slowest person? They have to wait till the last person reaches. So therefore, they actually depend upon the person who is slowest. Similar concept can be applied in chemical reactions, where the reactions are taking place by different number of steps. Now, imagine a reaction which is beginning with A to B, B to C, and C to D. So, this reaction is actually taking place in 3 steps. A to B is the first step, where A is our main reactant and D is our final product. But it has to go through three steps. A to B is the first step, B to C is the second step, C to D is the third step. Now imagine that out of these, first and second steps are fast. And assume that the last step, C to D, is slow. So these 2 fast steps will occur at their own time, but we cannot say that reaction is complete till the slowest step is complete. वो जब तक ये स्लो स्टेप कंप्लीट नहीं हो जाता, फास्ट स्टेप कितना भी फास्ट हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. जब तक स्लो स्टेप नहीं कंप्लीट होता, हम नहीं बोल सकते कि रिएक्शन कंप्लीट हो गया. So can we say that speed of the reaction actually depends upon the slow step, because फास्ट वाला कितना भी फास्ट हो कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ने वाला है. फर्क किससे पड़ेगा? स्लो वाले स्टेप से. So rate of the reaction will depend upon the slow step or the slowest step of the reaction. So we call such a slow step as rate determining step, because since this step determines the rate of the reaction, it is called as rate determining step, RDS. Now, so you have understood that the rate of the reaction depends upon the slowest step. So now here, if you observe the first mechanism that we have written over here, it contains two steps. So out of two, one has to be slow, one has to be fast. So now in this particular case, if at all the mechanism is taking place by this reaction, then one step has to be a slow step and second step has to be a fast step. But if you look at the second mechanism that we have written, there is only one step. So there is no question of the slow step and fast step because there is only one step. So now, if let us assume that the first step over here is slow. Okay, I am not saying this step is slow. Let us just assume that this first step over here is slow and the second step over here is fast. So rate किसके ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा? रेट will depend upon the first step, and first step में actually हो क्या रहा है? Breaking of the bond हो रहा है. So now if you observe our kinetics over here, अगर अपना रिएक्शन पहले वाले स्टेप से होगा, पहले वाले मैकेनिज्म से अगर होता है, तो वो किसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है? सिर्फ पहले स्टेप पे. Now in the first step, there is only one reactant present, that is CH3Br. OH minus comes in the second step. So OH minus का concentration कितना भी हो, कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, because वो second step पे है और second step के ऊपर रिएक्शन का स्पीड डिपेंड ही नहीं करता है अगर ये पहले वाले स्टेप से होता है तो. सो अपने रेट इक्वेशन में सिर्फ एक ही रिएक्टेंट आना चाहिए था, CH3Br ही आना चाहिए था. बट when we actually conduct the study in the laboratory, we observe that rate of the reaction is directly proportional to concentration of CH3Br and also the concentration of nucleophile OH minus. So we can say that we need a reaction जिसका step में दोनों भी molecules आएंगे. We require a reaction where a step contains both the reactants. So ऐसा वाला एक ही मैकेनिज्म है ये C वाला, बिकॉज ये एक ही स्टेप का मैकेनिज्म है. सो एक ही स्टेप में दोनों भी रिएक्टेंट आने ही चाहिए. इधर कैसा था? पहले वाले स्टेप में सिर्फ CH3Br था एंड दूसरे वाले स्टेप में OH माइनस आता था. बट सिंस दिस मैकेनिज्म C वाला मैकेनिज्म इज अ सिंगल स्टेप मैकेनिज्म, उसका एक ही स्टेप है. सो एक ही स्टेप में न्यूक्लियोफाइल भी आता है and CH3Br भी आता है. So therefore we can say that rate of the reaction takes place by this mechanism. Now we can say that the rate of the reaction depends upon two molecules. This is the first molecule CH3Br and this is the second molecule OH minus. So therefore such reactions are called as bimolecular reactions. उसको हम ऐसे भी बोलते हैं that reaction follows second order kinetics. Reaction follows the second order kinetics or we can say it is a bimolecular reaction. इसीलिए such kind of reactions are called as SN2 reaction, where it stands for substitution nucleophilic bimolecular, SN2 reaction.